Great highlight plays from both of those two players. New additions towards AI. And as we head into picks and bans for game number 2, we're going to see how Luminosity adjusts to some of these playmaking opportunities that Chapo and XenoTronics did in that endgame.
Luminosity still rightfully so looking towards Elchapo with the ban of Circuit. And Nemesis will be the ban of choice for Team AI, keeping that out of the hands of Masked. Second ban's coming through. LG still. Okay, there you go. Focus on the Ares. I think I agree. I think the Ares jungle, I think the Ares Finbats combo win that game.
What was it? He got a first blood at level 2 or level 3 it was. I think it was level 3 actually when he avoided the hammer throw from JeffHindla, and that's how you can tell Aror is just so comfortable on this god. I think he got the first 2 kills actually from his team.
Najah will be the jungler of choice for Luminosity. Looking for Mask to really run this one here. Team AI respond in kind with a Geb. Fantastic choice against that assassin. And the secondary selection out of Team AI. I wonder where they go. Do they reprise the Thoth for the best this early on? Do they go in a different direction?
It will be.
The Thoth.
The way TheBest was playing that Thoth last game with just so much damage in that end game. We saw him barely underneath Baskin. Both of them were battling for like that 60,000 player damage mark. Considering it was a 50-minute game, I'm not really surprised. But honestly, that's just a strong pick for TheBest.
Yeah, Terra will be the guardian of choice, or maybe a solo laner. But so, yeah, just let both mages play their mage. They both did the job. Baskin, you couldn't ask for anything more from him there, despite the loss. I think that's totally okay. And yeah, Xeno, just give them what they did yesterday, or in game number 1 for Team AI.
And I love what JeffHindla does here by picking up the Terra. Because he doesn't have to worry about the cripple here from Auror's Ares, he now doesn't also have to worry about the knockup from the Geb because of the way the Terra passive works.
Here's an interesting thing by Luminosity, and I actually think the Hunbats is a wasted ban. By banning out the Ares, Team AI understand that they're going in a different direction. If they wanted to play Hunbats, I think we see that picked up in the first round.
Sure.
So Luminosity banned out the Hunbats. Hunbats did very well, but he did well in tandem with Ares. I think that Hunbats would not have been picked without that Ares, and so that ban, oh well, you're getting the Ratatoskr. I think the Thor ban was important. I think Chapo might have played that Thor, and instead has to go for the Ratatoskr.
Still having some more global pressure in the form of the Ratatoskr. Going to see Amaterasu, though, for Luminosity. A lot of mobility on their side between, you're looking at the Amaterasu aura and the Terra's Blessing.
So here, Team AI playing spoiler. They have no chance to make it to the playoffs here. They are already out. In fact, they have to go to relegation. One of the bottom teams for a number of different reasons and a number of different rosters that we've seen in this split. But here as they head out towards the end of the season, this being our final day of North American Smite. In fact, the final day of Summer Smite overall. As I said, Team AI don't have a horse in this race, but if Luminosity lose, they don't make it.
It's going to be United instead, so everything ride or dies on this last game of the North America SPL. Can Luminosity close this one out?
I don't know. I think a lot of people might have said, obviously yes, Toli, why are you asking this question? But after watching game number 1, that's not a fluke. That's not a mistake. That is not Luminosity throwing the game. That's not Team AI picking a cheese composition. None of those boxes get to be checked. Team AI and Luminosity fought for an hour. They both played fantastically. And AI wound up as the better team flat out.
There was not too many closing opportunities for Luminosity considering how much of a distraction Chapo did in the late game.
Chapo, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Chapo, who made one of the fantastic plays to close the game in game 1, just throws his life away.
I can't answer that one, Tom. He just took too much damage from archers. A level 1 Ratatoskr just has no business tanking a whole minion wave without any sort of clear-cut advantage. And even Scary D able to steal away a blue buff here in the left-hand side. The girdle being popped, trying to clear out this first wave. And Chapo, though, answering in kind by taking out Scary D on the right-hand side.
You know what, though? All right, fine, Chapo. Girdle is popped here. That's why we're taking a look on the left side. Kind of predictable there. Unpredictable was the kill on the right side. So you know what? Listen, Chapo, that's what you're doing fine.
Xeno almost gets taken out as well. You could tell Jeff and BaRRa are mad about how aggressive Aror was on the Ares the last game, and now playing super aggressive on the left-hand side, basically hugging the tower line.
Popping the girdle at 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Yeah, they wanted to clear the wave. That one little relic usage alone allows them to out-clear Xeno and Aror to constantly push these waves under the tower, which eventually slowly adds up considering how much gold is going to be denied under that tower.
Yeah, we actually kept seeing that a number of times earlier in the split in the mid lane, where the early girdle would be popped to push the enemy out of the mid lane, and then you see all the rotations, obviously, and the invades, etc., etc. But again, 1-1 here early on, a lot of early action. Luminosity is leading by that first blood bounty, a little bit more than that, 644.
And that first blood bounty went towards Baskin's soul, and that's going to be a nice little addition towards Luminosity, because this is a late game soul that he's going to be building into. He had so much player damage that last game.
Yeah, it was insane.
And with this small gold spike, having Soulstone, he's looking to play aggressive in that mid lane.
Soulstone on the soul. I like it. We're all going to walk away. I like that one too. He's a snowman.
They don't walk.
He's abominable. Say that one, Toli.
Abominable.
Well, there's going to be the best jumped on by Mask, who finds the turnaround ultimate. Beautiful piloting of the Naja, and he earns his #2 kill. This god is hard to play, and when you can make those nice, just the snap plays, you have the accuracy, it's fun to watch, and Mask just do it justice.
This is why we're seeing such a prioritization of this Naja pick, whether you're banning it away or you're first picking it if the Susanoo isn't available. Has a lot of mobility once you connect on the ring bounces to not only slow your opponents, but also increasing your own movement speed. And this god cannot be denied, because even if he gets behind, you're looking at taking somebody out in a team fight.
Even, yeah, it becomes very interesting. You know, I always, this comes up a lot, Naja being bad from behind, and I don't think that he's, obviously no god is good from behind, but for me the conversation is much more, is the team behind. Should AI get a lead, if you're able to collapse on Mask and his team, one of Naja's issues is that he only really hits one target at a time. So yeah, you have your ring bounce, but you can do that from a distance. ScaryD again getting in trouble. Force out the ultimate, but here comes Chapo. Squash as the rat falls from the sky. Ratatoskr picks up his #2 kill here. He wants some milk.
He wanted that speed buff or something. I have no idea what ScaryD is doing, because last time he invaded the blue buff, got it, but couldn't get out. He was around level 2 or 3. Going for such an early aggressive play as an Amaterasu is uncharacteristic, because normally you don't have that sort of a window to be able to clear your wave and invade the enemy anything, honestly, because Hercules can just out-clear you with that pull-push combination. And
Divios on the Hercules, this is one of the classic Divios plays here, man. I love to watch him on this Hercules. He has a lot of control. He's able to do a lot, and it's one of his better gods here, so I do like to see him on the Hercules. I think he's going to really, really outplay ScaryD. So far, they're even as far as their levels are concerned, but obviously 0-2 for the Herc and 0-2 for the Amaterasu.
I love what XenoTronics did there. He was kind of baiting out his back on the left-hand side, but baiting out his life on the middle as Mask gets interrupted to a nice blink engage from Aror. It doesn't matter if he's the Ares, because he got his Geb as well.
Chapo dashes forward, unfortunately, because TheBest deals the damage from a distance. Didn't need that aggressive maneuver, and it costs him his life. Both junglers fall down here again. 3-3 here. This has very quickly become jungler v jungler, which are some of the more exciting games, honestly. If you're looking at both the Ratatoskr and the Naja, these characters are going to be all around the map, all aggressive, heavy damage. Expect Chapo and Mask to be the two playmakers this game for a long time.
And not only that, I'll hold that thought though, TheBest is in a little trouble as BaRRaCCuDDa is feeling himself a little bit, but it's ring around the rosy as Aror is creating a big wall, preventing any sort of aggression towards that mid-mage. And like we were talking about the junglers before, just the way the meta has shifted on and off, these junglers, they never really are out of meta. They just have a little bit of a hibernation.
Ooh, the ultimate out of XenoTronics will actually pull the objectives towards him and his boss. There's Chapo on the back end getting the kill, and the Gold Fury gets stolen by BaRRaCCuDDa as he finds the in-hand to steal away the objective by his lonesome. Barra's in trouble. Divios punishes, finds the driving strike, and finds the kill. Xeno behind the wall, ScaryD making the chase, beads her down, and so goes the Hunter.
They found the Gold Fury, and they're finding multiple kills here. They did lose 2, though, but ScaryD responds in kind with 2 of his own. He's making a huge impact. Divios finding the driving strike, setting up the final judgment. 3rd kill for AI onto Baskin here. The ScaryD is forced to retreat here. If Divios finds another pull, that's going to be one dead solo laner.
Oh man, Aror, no relic available. 13 seconds on the blink. Otherwise, he'd go for ScaryD. Here's going to be the ultimate. Grabs 2. Knockup is strong. No Sunder just yet.
This knockup was used intentionally just to squeeze in an in-hand underneath, finding Divios into the skies. Mask landing back down into a whole world of hurt.
Man, push coming out from Divios. Still not enough as Mask finds the ring bounce and takes down Divios. The world's longest team fight finally comes to a close. And what ultimately winds up being, I honestly can't even recap this one for you guys. I'm sorry. I think it's a 2 for 3?
It was a 3 for 3 at the end of the day.
3 for 3?
I'm pretty sure. But the Gold Fury went the way of Luminosity.
Which is the biggest deal.
Exactly. They have this one, about 1,200 gold lead at the almost 8-minute mark, so they're able to slowly make things happen compared to the last game.
It's funny how Mask comes all the way back and finds the kill in the same team fight.
And the way that Aror in no man's land trying to set up a little bit of a bait for Chapo as he lands under that tier 1 solo tower.
That's a problem. That was honestly a mistake on Chapo's part. Stays a little bit too long in the sky. Divios not going to be taken to the sky, but put in the ground by Baskin as he uses his ultimate. Mask still on cooldown, but the best, he falls to ScaryD.
ScaryD just does so much damage with that second ability. JeffHindla and BaRRaCCuDDa forcing out the ultimate from XenoTronics on the left. And what a great engagement from AI, really taking advantage of the fact that Aror used his Cataclysm just to get that Sentry Ward on the left.
Yeah, so, man.
He's definitely kicking himself for that one. If he had Cataclysm, maybe that team fight goes in the way of AI.
It's possible. Which team fight?
There's so many of them.
I mean, there's so many of them. They all last forever. That last one, however, certainly goes more in Luminosity's way, and that's just going to help them push themselves forward. About 2,000 gold in the lead is LG. As again, they're trying to keep their playoff, their summer finals dreams alive. As we've said a number of times, summer finals held in Spain, so a nice trip for these North American players as well. Kind of icing on the cake. Not only are you sort of winning and going for the land, but hey, it's a trip to Spain.
This game matters so much to not only Luminosity, but also to E United. XenoTronics, though, he gets caught under the wall. The body blocks from the Sex Tank. It's just preventing Xeno from leaving.
Barra very low, but nobody able to really go ahead and catch up. Mask, however, 50%. Chapo on the chase. Lands right on top. Finds the jungler, but not enough damage. Girdle has popped, more of a defensive maneuver than anything else, but Chapo's still on the chase.
Great peel from JeffHindla, finding the root and the stun. Divios wants to find the kill, but it's Mask that's going to stop Divios in his tracks. Baskin as well as ScaryD diving the backline, ultimate being used, stunning out Chapo, but a nice gap shield from Aror.
There's trouble as ScaryD made the rotation alongside Divios. He'll find the silence out of the Hercules, but that's about it. There's trouble. Baskin one more time.
The damage, it's just too hot coming out of Baskin. All the abilities onto the Hercules, nowhere to go. And that's the one issue with Hercules. That's only level 10 with a breastplate of valor. Sure, you could be looking for these pull pushes, but at this point in the game, you're not as tanky as you are, let's say 25 minutes into the game, where you have your mitigate wounds fully maxed out, and then you can just return your health pool back in your favor.
Slowly ticking up is the lead for Luminosity. 3,000 now. We're just shy of it by about 20 gold, sue me. But either way, 10 minutes in, Team AI took game number 1, but game number 2, a little bit different here. I say a little bit, though, because game number 1 went the distance, and at that point, the gold lead just doesn't matter. Should AI kind of hang on as well, right?
Yeah, AI were definitely going for speed in that first game and certainly got it, but Luminosity here are trying to make things happen if they want to secure their spot into Valencia, and Mask has been making the plays happen. He has 2 kills and 7 assists out of his team's 11 kills.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and help out. And Baskin reprising his role on the Soul, I think is absolutely fantastic. Not only that, but continuing the damage. You can see Thoth kind of still down there. But Baskin, he's going to take his cake and eat it too. Still continuing his reign of terror here. On this left side, looking for the Gold Fury. Baskin and his team certainly have the composition to look for the early objectives.
They have to respect the Blink Cataclysm from Aror. Not able to put him in combat beforehand, but will force the reset.
There's going to be the problem from the sky. Aror is already taken care of. And Chapo on the back line looking for Baskin gets taken out by Mask.
Trying to land back down here. Chapo will get eliminated by Baskin, stunning out XenoTronics. BaRRaCCuDDa's trying to help him chase down that Hunter, but zoning him out so far away from the Gold Fury should allow Luminosity this chance for the gold. But TheBest, look where he is. He's right underneath the final judgment. Ooh, so close.
Too late by a hair, by a nose.
Look at BaRRa.
He's trying to see best. He gets stunned out. Scary D right side, looking for the ultimate on Divios. Misses the damage out of the mirror, and that should make him turn around. The flip kick is good. The flip is good. The kick is good as well. Ultimate out of Divios is on cooldown, so we won't have that one. But it was just a zone. The rest of Luminosity confirmed the Portal Demon. All the while, XenoTronics kind of split pushing.
It was just all an elaborate ruse from Scary D on the right-hand side as Luminosity secured themselves the second Gold Fury, their first Portal Demon, and now they built themselves a comfortable 4,500 gold lead that they can really start taking advantage of, considering that they have the experience lead to follow up with it. This means that they're going to have more relics available in these next engagements.
And this is really where Luminosity kind of dropped the ball last game, in that they had a very mid-game oriented team that wasn't able to get off the ground. And so they had to wait until the late game to really find something, and they never really did. Here, Mask, Baskin, BaRRaCCuDDa, all these guys are going to hit their stride around in about 5 or 6 minutes, and then just get more powerful from that point on. Scary D already there. Luminosity this time have the lead. And this they can fashion into something that can be tough for AI to deal with.
And this is what a lead can do for an Amaterasu that has Shield of Regrowth finished, maxed out her auras to be able to get that regen and the movement speed to be able to dive that tier 1 tower, and diving onto XenoTronics. Nice job by Mask.
Chapo lands on the back line looking for somebody, and it's BaRRaCCuDDa. He gets pushed out. Baskin already with the kill. The ultimate is going to be the Wild Hunt. Divios running away. BaRRaCCuDDa not going to find the kill just yet. A little bit early, as I said.
He's looking for the stun, but he's not able to connect all 3 shots onto Aror, but doing enough damage to bully out this Geb, which is it might allow Luminosity to try to go for this tier 1 tower, while Baskin is using his Bumba's Mask to regain all that health that he lost in that last engagement while still being able to farm.
Yeah, tier 1 tower absolutely belongs to Luminosity. 500 gold in the bank.
Scary D just dashed into 2 people so he can aggressively invade the speed buff by himself.
Yeah, I don't know about this play, Scary D. Team AI still a little bit of afraid, though. Level 9, level 11, level 12 on Aror, TheBest, and Chapo, respectively. Level 15 on Scary D, so.
Okay, I like this calculator risk, actually, from Scary D now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, because his intent was never to really even go for the speed. It's just all about these distraction, allowing Luminosity to get their second tier 1 tower of the game.
I mean, that's what we saw with him on Divios, just distracting Divios. We looked at the health, and we said, this is why is Scary D going aggressive? He missed the mirror, which probably wasn't on purpose. But then Divios sat there and went, haha, why is he engaging on me? Haha. And then they heard the whomp of the Portal Demon and went, oh, that's why.
Divios still trying to box out Scary D and not able to get the better end of that one.
You know what the D stands for in Scary D?
Scary Divios?
Scary distraction. Really, you couldn't get that one? Divios here under the tower, in trouble, stunned out. Mask is here, so is Jeff, so is Soul. 3 players on Team AI are going to be trapped out by Baskin. And there's the damage. Baskin's in trouble, gets the knock-up. Mask gets kicked out. Baskin gets hit by the ultimate out of Divios. There's the retreat from Luminosity, but again, they get what they came for.
The stun is good. The Cataclysm is even better. BaRRaCCuDDa gets taken on the left-hand side from a gank from Chapo, but there's more action on the right.
Mask is going to go down here if anybody can find the last hit, but they can't. Instead it's Scary D. Now it's Divios and Aror in trouble. Big damage from Mask. Big damage from Baskin. It's Maskin on the right-hand side. Luminosity winning, looking for the tier 2. But honestly, Team AI, it's all the same on the left. They're looking for a tier 2 of their own.
Ooh, but the
Scary
teleport, the teleport from Scary D. Your death shall not be in vain. BaRRaCCuDDa says Scary D as he's going to try to chase down XenoTronics. He has the mobility necessary. He's going to even blink in, use the ultimate to force out the Aegis. Even using the beads here, the stun on XenoTronics is good. Not going to find the double tap, but you can't run away from a level 17 Amaterasu.
Yeah, Xeno didn't have that jump available, unfortunately. So
Phoenix?
Yeah. You know why?
The distraction.
Scary distraction.
The scariest
The
of distractions.
scary distraction, man. I'm telling you.
How scary is his distractions?
Not really that scary. It's the... it's really not frightening at all.
I mean, when I think of Scary, I'm like, he's not that scary.
No, he's not that scary, which is what makes it that much better, I think. So Scary D is, you know, he's kind of just doing the role. And honestly, I talk a lot about conditioning your opponent. Hold that thought, though. Chapo in the sky. Force Luminosity off of the objective here. Chapo looking for a target.
That's a second branch. Still got a third. Oh, never mind. That was his third.
Lands right down on the red buff. Divios being surrounded by Baskin, JeffHindla. Gold Fury being surrounded by Baskin and BaRRaCCuDDa. Already taken down. Now Divios in trouble. JeffHindla and his entire team chasing down the Hercules player who once stood in the mid lane. Baskin again gets credit for the kill, but there goes XenoTronics. He was there. I swear, he's just gone now. Chapo and Aror also in trouble. Luminosity surging forward. Scary D trying to find the kill onto Mask, or Chapo, excuse me. Can't do it. But our top damage Amaterasu crushing it.
Just that's what he's able to do with this late game pick. Scary D, whether he plays that god or the Vamana, but hold that thought. Aurora blinking in and gets punished, trying to hold on to that middle. Phoenix Best channeling that final judgment, could use it on Mask here.
Chapo gets pushed away to the back line. Oh! Scary D, where'd Mask go? Best through the wall, finds the kill. BaRRaCCuDDa taking some poke as well as he gets stunned out.
That was pretty.
You like that one?
That was pretty.
You like that one, didn't you?
That was the double P.
Would you say that that kill was
scary?
The best?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say a scary distraction or something like that. I've seen some pretty good kills, so it's up there, but it's not the best.
No, I mean, that kill was the best. That was the mid laner on AI.
Are you talking about Jeremy Daly?
Yes. So
speaking of the best, actually,
okay,
that whole engagement, he was actually split pushing on the right-hand side because of the Phoenix being secured from Luminosity in the soul lane. They needed somebody from AI to deal with those fire minion waves. Who better than a level 16 Thoth out of everybody from AI? And
yeah, you actually saw him continuing to do that just now as you bring it up.
Yeah, just getting even the tier 1 tower for his own teammates.
Portal Demon started. Divios 7 years too late, throws the ultimate. Gonna miss that one. Retreat out of Team AI as the ultimate out of Aurora stuns out 2. There's damage put onto the Snowman, and Baskin try to catch up, but absolutely won't. In fact, gets hit by Xeno, not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. Chapo comes through on the back end to double ricochet and then some for XenoTronics, but Chapo goes too late. Mask gets the kill.
Kick and the flip. JeffHindla is not in a good spot. He finds the root, dashes back in, but he's between too many members from AI. Nice ring bounces from Mask, keeping everybody a little bit low here. Divios is very low. Jeff actually taking out Aurora, while Xeno and Best forced to retreat on the right.
The kick out of Divios is strong, but Scary D brought down to a hair of HP, able to back and come back through the portal. And it might be the end for Divios. Xeno, however, picks up one more kill. And AI just fighting it out. The best!
The kiting!
The best!
The kiting is just so real from AI. XenoTronics was able to shut down Mask here, as well as BaRRaCCuDDa.
Ooh,
nice flick of the wrist from Scary D, just catching Divios on the tail end of that one.
I like that try coming out from Big D, but unfortunately going to be relegated to a lowercase here. 20 minutes in, 24-12. We got a dozen on the side of Team AI, but Luminosity brings the 24 rack, and they're 58,000 gold to 48, 10,000 above AI. Much different story than game number 1 here, folks.
This is a huge lead from Luminosity, the biggest lead they've had this entire set, and this is a great spot to be in. Nice play from Scary D, intercepting the roll, but no one else really there to catch up, just doing it as a little flashy highlight.
I mean, sometimes you got to do that. I will always bring up the blink. Oh, it was a combat blink on Freya. Who played it? Combat blink used on Freya to stop the rollout. It was PandaCat. PandaCat combat blinked into the rolling out Geb to secure the fact that he wouldn't get away.
Oh my god. Was that like back in, what was it, season 2?
Yeah, plays from yesteryear. Plays from today, however.
Fire Giant.
Luminosity playing for tomorrow. Fire Giant confirmed, and Luminosity looking for the play that will take them to Spain for our summer finals here. Well, there, I guess. Here is Atlanta. There is Valencia, Spain. And that's exactly where Luminosity are looking. Anatoly!
Xeno!
Trouble for Xeno. He gets jumped on, and he gets dumped on. Scary D, the player of the game.
Divios, though, is in a lot of trouble as well. Throwing out the boulder, using the thorns as well. Wild Hunt will buy a little bit of time here as Chop was forced to retreat. BaRRaCCuDDa taking a lot of damage, but it's Baskin taking out Best.
And he's just crushing it continuously. Right side Phoenix, gone. Mid Phoenix, barely there, not even looking for it. JeffHindla and Baskin going directly
this is it, Tom.
for the end. Ladies and gentlemen.
Is it. Luminosity, they're going to Valencia.
Yes, no way about it. Divios, no matter how strong, can't stop Luminosity against the Titan. He goes down. And LG in game number 2, the absolute last opportunity, find themselves securing the trip to the summer finals. Congratulations to Luminosity Gaming.
Just what a performance from everybody, honestly. But if there's one player I'm really looking at, it's got to be Scary D on that Amaterasu. Once he hit level 14 with Shield of Regrowth, there was no looking back.
Just incredible. Scary D has, what an interesting story this young man has. Acquired by the team last year, looked like a rookie player, was kind of, wet behind the ears. As the year went on, continued to get better, and then at the moment when they absolutely needed him, he came through in the clutch and brought the team to Worlds. At Worlds, fell short, and players were still looking for that Scary D that brought the team to Worlds and Super Regionals. I think in that last game, that's the first glimpse that we've seen of him since we saw him at Super Regionals.
Quite an impressive performance from him and Luminosity, and I'm just really excited to see how they transition into Valencia.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting summer finals as we head over there to Europe to see how everybody fares, and we'll head over there to the desk to see how those analysts thought about the games.
Welcome back to the desk. I'm again that guy, joined again by Taco. What a day we had. Joining us on the line from that last set is Scary D. How you doing, Scary?
Yo, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Congratulations on finding your spot. Qualified for Valencia. How does it feel?
Feels really good. It was like a really clutch game, and that last one was kind of scary, but we did it.
No pun intended there after all, but really looking towards Valencia, how do you guys feel as though you're going to fare against some of these European teams that have also qualified?
We definitely have a bunch of stuff to work on, but I feel like recently we've been finding our stride again, and we're going to be practicing really hard before DreamHack to try to win, I guess.
Out of all the other teams that have kind of qualified for DreamHack, who do you think your biggest competition is? Who do you feel like you are going to look out for the most?
I'm actually not sure. I'm pretty sure all the EU teams are actually really good, so basically all of them, I guess.
always good to keep in mind your competition and their strengths, but really, what do you think are some of Luminosity's strengths that you guys will be having as far as heading towards Valencia is concerned?
I mean, we can win. That's a good strength to have.
That is a very good strength. That is, if you can find the wins, I mean, that's at the end of the day, if it's ugly or not, you just got to be able to find those wins. And finding the wins, what was the difference between Game 1 and Game 2? Game 1 kind of looked a little ugly. It was a very long game, and you guys came out on the, not the better end of it. And then Game 2 kind of came out, and the Luminosity we expect kind of came through.
Yeah, Game 1, they just got ahead early with a late game comp, which sucked for us, because in dual lane, there's like a creep bug or whatever, where the minions, like the AI is like messed up, and Aror and Xeno got extra creeps and they hit level 3, and then they could just blink and kill BaRRa with Ares. But Game 2, we just like tried to stay level headed after Game 1, and then we just popped off.
I'll say you sure did. I mean, you had the best in Game 1, and in Game 2 you had Baskin. I mean, carried on the shoulders of the mid laners in both games. I guess before we let you go, do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, shout out to Luminosity for being a great sponsor. Shout out to my team, and shout out to our coach, Quintosh.
All right, thanks for joining us, and good luck on your way to Valencia.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm sure that they're more than excited right now, and considering the fact that they managed to make it in, although by the skin of their teeth, I'm sure that Luminosity's definitely looking to clean up their gameplay as far as headed towards Valencia is concerned.
Let's take a deeper look into that game number 1. Like I said, Baskin carried game number 2, but in game number 1, it really was the best show. I mean, on that Thoth, he was really everywhere making plays. Sometimes you forget, I mean, you shouldn't, but you forget that Thoth does a lot of damage, and then he has games like this, you're like, oh yeah, that's right, Thoth.
He had quite a lot of highlight ultimate moments, and I mean, if you're gonna make a montage of the best and like some of the plays that he's able or capable of making, this is probably a prime example of just how mechanically talented he is as a player. And I really do think that he was by far the determining factor for how this game ultimately ended up playing out. He was really smart about his positioning, not looking to over-aggress unless Aror was right there by his side most of the time, even relying off that setup from Chapo. And then the same thing was kind of on the other end for game number 2 when it came to Baskin.
Baskin was not going to be outdone in this game. He showed up on this Soul and really showed that, all right, you can play the Thoth, I'm going to show you what I can do.
And I think a lot of it was also, again, just due to his stellar positioning. He had really solid follow-ups as well off of Mask on that Ninja. So I think all around they executed the comp that they drafted, and they executed it to the degree that they needed to, which is why they were able to close out this game so abruptly.
Would you say he had stellar positioning on his stellar bursts?
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's look at our first game of the day, Trifecta versus ALG. Really interesting game. It had some implications for Valencia. Game number 1, let's look at Cyno. You know, we talked about him in our breakdown before about, you know, these junglers that he's been picking and how he's been, you know, playing at a very high level lately.
Jungle is a pretty crucial role, especially when it comes to competitive play. You kind of have to rely on your jungler to not fall behind. Otherwise, you just lose so much experience and map pressure that opens up objectives. But Cyno was everywhere on the Ratatoskr, and that's so ideal for Trifecta because they were capable of making so many different plays just off of his ultimate setup alone. And
as good as the Rat was in game number 1, we can't talk about game number 2 without talking about Snoopy's Vulcan ADC.
I think this was kind of a mixture of two things. A, Snoopy played this Vulcan phenomenally, and that was absolutely incredible to watch him. Back in what I think was a lot of his original form, this was kind of an ADC that he made his name on, and the way that he was able to just like bring it back and bring it out in the moment where it really did matter, because this prevented Trifecta from having to worry about a tiebreaker. But also, ALG just kind of fell apart in another 10K lead. I think that they should have been able to close this one out. It was just a couple of really unfortunate team fights for Allegiance that pretty much led to them dropping that, and just Snoopy coming up huge with these ultimates.
Like we said at the beginning, these are two teams that kind of found their strides at different points. ALG had their stride at the beginning of the split, and Trifecta really found their stride at the end, and you know, they're just carrying that momentum into Valencia. Going into our second set of the day, we've got eUnited and Space Station, another game that had implications for Valencia.
I think this was kind of a heartbreaking one for the guys over at eUnited, because I mean, Space Station, they really showed up in game number 1, but eUnited were just able to overcome it the entire way through. Any sort of attempts that Space Station was trying to make in order to have that comeback potential, it just wasn't able to follow up on, because eUnited just played their draft so well. Like, they executed it to a T.
And speaking of executed to the T, we got to look at the Chaos on that game 1. You know, Chaos isn't a guy we actually like point to a lot, but he does his job. He does what he needs to do, albeit sometimes quietly.
I mean, a lot of Thoth play coming up huge today, it would seem, in North America. And Chaos definitely had a really strong performance. That's what his team needed. They started off with a bang in game number 1. And really, you kind of anticipated that they might have carried this momentum over into their second game. But all around, I think that there's still a lot of promise for eUnited. They're clearly a team that has the potential to be a top 3 contender. It's just they were unable to make it come through.
They more than likely would have carried that momentum into game 2, but one man said no. Homie FA said, no, you shall not pass. I am going to take this game in my own hands on this Thor.
junglers just love picking Thor whenever they're concerned about having everything put on the line, and that's basically what Homefei did. He didn't have the best game in game number 1, so he just whipped out the Thor and completely carried. Not to mention that I think all around United kind of just struggled against Space Station's composition because they fell behind in the early. They didn't have a whole lot of anti-heal to try and deal with Anister on this Ra, and I just think that it kind of just fell apart for United here.
And let's not forget about the double initiation factor. I mean, you had the Thor, but then you also had Final K on that Bellona. So many team fights and aggressive situations were started between those two, kind of counter-initiating with each other. Having
all that AoE as well as the pick possibilities available to them, I think is what ultimately led Space Station to drawing this one up as a split. And I mean, we already know that AI or United were really relying on AI to 2-0 Luminosity, and just unfortunately for them, it didn't happen, and Luminosity found the split, and so it came up big.
It really did come up big, but let's go to our last game. Flashpoint Noble, the highlight of everybody's day, I would have to say. These are two teams that, took the split as like a learning experience. Flashpoint more than Noble. I think Noble kind of found their identity, especially with, the addition of Skeleton. I mean, he was never been a #1 option kind of guy, but he kind of just fits with this squad. He made a lot of setup plays for MLC in game number 1.
They found the team chemistry that works, and whenever that happens, you can just tell because a team will just play so much more composed. That's kind of what we saw at Noble today. Granted, you're kind of expecting Noble to find the 2-0 victory, especially when they're taking set wins off of teams like United, but all around, just really clean gameplay for the most part from Noble. You can tell that this team still has a little bit of learning experience to take on and continue with into further splits, but right now, I think that they've definitely started to find their stride.
I mean, across the board, there's so much talent. I mean, you've got Skeleton in the jungle row, and then looking at our other player, we've got Aquarius. I mean, like I said at the top of the show, Final K might be my rookie of the year, but Aquarius is no slouch in that solo lane either, and he's really, forging his own identity out there.
The 2 new additions to the team have been popping off recently, and I think that it's always wonderful whenever you bring on these new members and it just immediately meshes with everybody that you already have on board. So all around, just congratulations to Noble for avoiding relegations. That's got to be a big weight off their shoulders for not having to worry about that heading into the next split.
And it was definitely, it was hard fought to get there. They started off the split not looking the strongest, but then they made some changes, made a new additions, and they really found their new identity, and it's really showing that they have the potential to be something in this league. Let's take a look at our schedule for today with the scores, just to show you what happened as a recap. We've got Trifecta and ALG, 2-0 for Trifecta, United Space Station having a split, Noble 2-0ing Flashpoint, and then AI splitting with Luminosity.
And all around, I mean, it was pretty close as far as the final breakdown was concerned. Kind of surprised that we didn't see any tiebreakers from either region. I mean, I guess EU was kind of expected to not really be a tiebreaker scenario, but for North America, I was almost certain that there was going to be a tiebreaker or two involved, but all these teams just happened to find the games that they needed, and now we've got Space Station, Trifecta, and Luminosity as our North American teams for Valencia.
Coming into this set of games, there was so many questions marked about the consistency issues that we'd seen in NA that I think a lot of us were really prepared to see tiebreakers, just because that's the way that NA has kind of gone so far. They haven't really been playing at the top level 100% of the time, so anybody could take a game off of anybody, and I mean, it looked really scary there for Luminosity going into game number 2, but at the end of the day, it all kind of shook out the way that we thought it would.
I think that considering how the split started off, this is probably the way that most people were anticipating the qualifiers to go. I think the only surprise factor might potentially be Trifecta, but all around, I think that Trifecta, especially after picking up Kiki, have always been a solid team. The team really found their stride too, and so congratulations to all of those teams.
So going into Valencia, now that we have our NA qualifiers, who do you think is the strongest NA team going into Valencia?
I really couldn't say, because I still think that a factor of inconsistency is an issue for North America.
Come on, that's a cop-out answer.
It's not a cop-out answer. It's a realistic one. That's the thing.
All right, I gotta agree with you. It is a realistic answer. It's still a little bit of a cop-out. I mean, you could go one way or the other.
I don't know. I don't want to say anything, because then everybody's just gonna say I'm a traitor and EU biased.
I see how it is. All right, so that's it for us. Don't forget to stay tuned. We've got some Hand of the Gods action for you. going into our final for qualifiers to Valencia. That's coming up right after this. Thanks for joining, everybody, and we'll see you next time.